Hello, hello. Today is my final day of preparation for the hiking weekend. My legs are feeling pretty sore from the last 3 days of training, and I'm going to spend today working on my shoulders and neck to get them prepared for the backpack. Okay, so I think most people are going to probably be watching this after the fact, so just follow along. But today's going to be a very easy day, mostly focusing on the neck and shoulders. And we're going to invest a lot of simple time into these movements for the neck. Okay. It's a very meditative class today. Some might say boring, but if you keep moving, you're going to see how the neck is going to transform. Okay, we're going to use this basic movement of no in the head. The other movement we're going to use is a slight nod in the head. And then later, we'll add a side tilting to the head. Okay, well, let's start first getting the neck to rotate. We're just going to work on this for quite a bit of time. Okay, make nice long breathing. Trying to release the tension in the neck while you move. As you produce the movement, this gives us sensation in the neck of what feels tight. And we're just going to focus on relaxing and releasing the neck with every exhale as we continue this tiny, tiny movements. Notice how the movement stays very small. I really don't even attempt to look all the way side to side. I'm not interested in that at all. I'm only moving about, say, 15 degrees both directions. Very comfortable, no pain. And I really focus on making the movement as easy as possible and also releasing more and more tension from the neck with every exhale. If you were part of the Mind Body series during the quarantine time, I'll be using the released breathing, where we try to relax the air out of the body and also quiet down the mind while releasing the entire body with each exhale. Okay? Just rinsing and repeating, moving the neck easily. We're going to move into a nodding movement. Okay, like we're saying yes, but very gently. You want this movement to come from as high up in the neck as possible. You don't want to feel the head moving too much. All right, just a very slight nodding, maybe 5 degrees up and down, both directions. And releasing with the breath. Remember that the movements help release the muscles, but if we don't use the mind also to try to produce the release, we're going to have pretty slow progress. If we really focus mindfully to release on every exhale, then the movement is going to help this go faster. Letting go of the stress. Remember that no movement or no other thing can make you relax. This is something you need to do to give to yourself from the inside out. Even if we're in a very relaxing situation, if you don't try to relax or allow the relaxation to come, it's not going to come. Good. The hand movement I'm using is on the thighs, and I move in rhythm with the neck. It just feels natural to me. You don't have to, but I find it helpful. And when we're using the nodding movement, I use both hands like I am now, both moving forwards and backwards together. Let's switch back to the rotating movement in the head, and we'll see that the hands shift into one forwards and one backwards. So this helps the body figure out the rotation. Again, keep the neck movement very small and easy. And if you don't want to use the hands, it's just as important to feel only the neck moving. Creating relaxation response. Every exhale going deeper into the neck. Good. Moving to a nodding movement again. Good. If you're just joining us now, we're doing a really intense session using micro movements in the neck, using the release breathing from the Body Mind series, where every exhale is letting go of the body and the mind, cultivating a relaxation response with every exhale. Okay, we're using the nodding movement right now, coming from very high up in the neck, easy movement. We're going to start to look very slightly side to side as we do this. Okay, again, it's very boring, but very therapeutic. Okay, to make it interesting, we need to follow the relaxation response into the spine and really try to visualize the bones of the neck and the muscles along the back of the spine. Okay, let's spend a few minutes on the nodding movement as we release with the breath, focusing on these muscles in the back of the neck. Keep the movement small and consistent, getting lost inside of the movement, noticing what is being stubborn. Okay, if we've been adding up a few minutes already, so we've gotten about 8 to 9 minutes of moving into the neck already. At this point, if we stop and reevaluate, okay, we'll stop the continuous movement, feel the energy through the body. We're just going to turn the head slowly side to side and notice how the movement feels smoother, looking up and down easily. Notice the smoothness in the movement. Okay, don't force, don't try to stretch. Only notice the quality of the movement. Okay, and we're going to pick it up again with the rotation movement. Again, we don't need to get any bigger. You probably felt when we were just reevaluating that the beginning of the movement, this local area, was very smooth. And as you turned past here, you probably started to feel some tension somewhere. Okay, first we need to understand we don't really need to turn the neck that far. We can borrow from the rest of the body. So there's no reason to really crank the neck all the way to test. Okay? But more importantly, as we continue the small movement here, we're still addressing that bigger movement. It just takes longer to get to it. Usually the top of the neck releases first, giving us the freedom in small movements. And only after that do we start to find the freedom in the bigger movements. Okay? But stay with the turning of the head for now. Let's go back into the releasing breath. We'll spend another few minutes just doing this moving meditation in place, okay? Focus on the smoothness of the movement. Focus on visualizing and feeling the muscles in the back of the neck and releasing with every exhale. Here we go. Letting go. Good. Let the arms rest and move only from the neck. Focusing on the swinging quality, the effortlessness, changing of direction in the neck, the lack of tension when in movement. Staying only where it's comfortable, feeling where the barrier is, but not going into it. We're going to add a slight tilt to the neck now. A slight flexion to the side. Still barely rotating. Everything's super smooth. Just slightly tilted. The smaller the movement, the better right now. Good. Tilting slightly to the other side. Coming back up to neutral, we're going to go back to a nodding movement. Here we're going to get the hands moving together, forwards and backwards. Very slight nodding movement, and immediately into the releasing breath. Good. We're going to add now the final movement we're going to train the neck with, the side-to-side movement. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky, so we're going to take a little bit of time to develop this movement. But again, move very slowly, very carefully. And what we want to eventually get to, so my body's still getting a little bit too much movement. Eventually, I want to quiet the movement in my torso and get just my head to tilt from side to side. So it's going to take me a second. I'm just going to keep moving the small movement, releasing the jaw. Good, just bringing the mind's awareness to the sides of the neck, seeing how this movement can feel awkward in the body. But if we stay carefully moving where it's comfortable, using the visualization to feel the sides of the neck, slowly we're going to improve this. If you're still moving, getting this done, putting in the work, hopefully you're letting the mind relax, letting the thoughts wander. Right? The movements are simple enough you can daydream while you do them. It's very therapeutic to let the mind go while we let the body figure itself out. My coordination's starting to improve here. I can start to isolate a little bit better, but I'm starting to notice tilting this way is a lot easier than this way. So I'm going to use the rotation pattern, and I'm going to bias the way that I found my tilting was harder to go this way. And this way feels nice and easy for me. So I'm going to tilt into the restriction and just use my easy rotation pattern to start to open up that half of the neck. Again, using the release breathing, trying to get deeply relaxed in the mind and getting lost in the movement so that I don't even have to think about the movement. It's just happening on autopilot while my mind wanders and relaxes. We're letting the head hang a little bit deeper into it. But again, this is happening because we've already spent 20 minutes doing this easy stuff for the neck. It feels much more fluid, much more open than when I started. So I'm able to hang a little bit more into the movement and incorporate a little bit more of my body. But again, we're really just trying to space out. Just get the body to relax, forget what it's doing, and let it go on autopilot. The less we control the body, the more it's going to auto-correct itself. You just feed it movement and let the mind and body wander. Good. I'm going to return to the nodding movement. I'm going to reestablish this front to back with the hands, easy sinking in. And I'm going to again use my bias tilting to my weaker side to try to open up where I felt my restriction. Okay, maybe you're leaning to the other side, working on your restriction. Good. Hopefully you found some difference when you were turning, nodding, some kind of tension. Okay, so again, I'm trying now to increase the flexibility here. So I'm using the simple nodding movement. I'm staying in a very comfortable range. And I'm going to take my time developing the tilt as I just nod through this movement. Using the mind to sense the back of the neck, the base of the skull, and between the vertebrae. And releasing every exhale. But I'm starting to feel that I'm really touching on the issue in my neck. I'm not working any harder with the movements right now, but the more superficial tensions have loosened up, and I'm starting to feel something a bit deeper, which is usually my experience when I do a session like this. When you invest in the micro movements, you kind of shed the layers of tension like an onion. And the top layers come off slowly, and later you realize, oh, there's kind of something underneath here that I couldn't feel at first. So again, I'm not going to work any harder. I'm just going to keep letting go and let the movement do the work for me. I'm going to slowly bring it back to the middle and spend just a minute or two using the rotation and nodding down the center to re-coordinate the neck. Okay, I'm just again trying to recalibrate everything after stretching to one side to try to increase my range of motion in that direction. And it's feeling a little bit more even in the neck right now. A little bit easier for me to turn to the left now. But again, staying in the easy range. Good. Now nodding up and down the center. Good. Bringing the head to a rest now. Okay, let's just take a moment to reflect inside and see how the body feels now that it's not moving anymore. Feel lots of tingling and energy in the back of the neck and the hands. Right? Turning the head feels a little bit lighter, smoother, especially up and down right now feels pretty good. I do feel some twinges inside my neck that were uncovered. I did not feel them when we started, but to me that's a good thing. This means that I really gently shook something up at the base of my neck, and it's probably just becoming more active as it tries to release. So I'm also feeling a lot more relaxed now, which is also one of my favorite things. So I'm feeling pretty good for my trip. I won't have class on Friday or Monday, so I'll be back Tuesday at noon. Tomorrow morning, don't be surprised if your neck is a little bit sore, or if you're doing this class later, the day after. Sometimes we feel good the day of and we sleep and realize that this actually did release quite a bit, whether we feel it or not at first. And sometimes that can make us sore. So be mindful of that. Keep moving easily throughout the day. And I'll see you Tuesday at 2 o'clock, Tuesday at 2. Okay, bye-bye.